How's it going, everyone? In this video I want to go over a bunch of PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and a Nintendo Switch game update. We'll get to Pokemon Legends Arceus at the end of this video, but we've got Horizon Forbidden West's first PlayStation 4 screenshots. We've seen a lot of gameplay of this game so far, but now we're finally seeing it on PS4. Still not exactly what I want to see out of the PS4 version in terms of, these are just screenshots. I want to see actual real-time gameplay and see how it runs because that's going to be the most important thing, but nonetheless, nice to see that. Yomawari 3 has been announced for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Scarlet Nexus gets an update. Praey for the Gods is available now on PS5, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin gets an update, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. We'll get to that at the end of this video, but first of all, Horizon Forbidden West gets its first PlayStation 4 screenshots. Now, this came from developer Guerrilla Games over on Twitter, noting we've showed you a lot of footage of Horizon Forbidden West on PlayStation 5 so far, but the game also looks and plays stunning on the PlayStation 4, and we see this some screenshots, and obviously the game is looking really good. I don't expect that huge of a discrepancy from a visual standpoint with the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 version. Really, what I'm concerned about is performance. I'm sure the performance is going to be really good on the PlayStation 5 just because at the end of the day, they have to get the game at a playable state on the PlayStation 4, so you're not going to be utilizing all the aspects of the PlayStation 5. That's just the reality of the situation. I know Guerrilla is going to say, oh, we're still taking advantage of everything with the PS5. No, it's a cross-gen game. That's always going to be the case. You're not going to take full advantage of the PlayStation 5 if you're ultimately getting it on the PlayStation 4 as well, unless the PlayStation 4 version runs at like 6 frames per second, but nevertheless, you can't get the game to be running at 6 frames per second on the PS4. It still has to be a stable 30 FPS, and that's what I'm concerned with. Is it going to be a stable 30 FPS on the base PlayStation 4? Not talking about the PS4 Pro, but the base PlayStation 4, because it's going to be on the PS4, it's going to be on the PS4 Pro, and it's going to be on the PS5, so you've got 3 tiers of performance here. And ultimately, if it's on the base PlayStation 4, which it is going to be, it still needs to run good on that platform, not even the PlayStation 4 Pro. The Pro's not that much more powerful than the regular PlayStation 4, but just food for thought there. Look, the screenshots look stunning, and hopefully the game is going to perform at a rather suitable pace at around 30 frames per second. That's really the most you could hope for. I'm sure there's going to be dips to like 26, 27 frames per second at more intense moments. That's just kind of the reality of the situation. I'm ready to get to 60 frames per second. I don't even care that much that the game isn't going to, utilize all the technical aspects of the PlayStation 5. The fact is, 60 frames per second, that is the biggest caveat for me when it comes to next generation. I just want games to be at 60 frames per second. We've been at 30 FPS for far too long. I think 60 FPS, we're ready to get to that level. And with Horizon Forbidden West, I do think we're going to be getting to that level, so excited for that, and that will be dropping on February the 18th, that stacked month of February. Alright, moving on from that, Yomawari 3 has been announced for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. We have a Japanese release date. The April 21st release date is only for Japan. I would imagine that the game would be coming stateside at some point as well, given that the other Yomawari games did come stateside as well. Midnight Shadows and then Night Alone both came to the States, so those games were received quite well. Horror games with a throwback art style, a pretty cool art style, but yeah, if you're a fan of Japanese horror titles, might be something right up your alley, so I did want to give that a mention. Alright, speaking of Japanese titles, Scarlet Nexus version 1.05 update and DLC Bond Enhancement Pack 2 are now available. I'm not a big fan of DLC being dropped like this, but hopefully Scarlet Nexus is doing relatively well. I was super high on this game. Like, while I would probably say it fell out of my top 5 after some of the games from the fall came out, I still thought Scarlet Nexus was an awesome JRPG with a great cast of characters, a really solid story. Gameplay was good. Yeah, you had some redundant environments and enemy types, but I still thought it was overall a very good game. The paid downloadable content Bond Enhancement Pack 2 includes new costumes and weapon skins for all playable characters in collaboration with the famed artist Daisuke Richard, 10 new Bond episodes to further expand upon character relationships, so that's a lot to... That's a lot of new episodes being added. I would imagine it's for every specific character. New power-specific effects when used SAS to connect with an ally who has learned Nexus Drive, and then you also have free update version 1.05 Battle Simulator, rematch against boss fights from the main story campaign as well as from challenge missions. Really like that. Would have been nice if that was on launch day, but hey, it's a part of the free update, so not really too much to complain about there. Over 20 new challenges for players to test their skills, and a new lineup of exchange items in the shop that includes plugins, weapons, and more. Scarlet Nexus obviously available right now. You can get the game at a relatively cheap price. You can probably find it for sub 30 bucks. It's a really, really good game. Also available on Xbox Game Pass on PC as well as Xbox consoles. Really solid game. Quite a bit of content as well, because if you want the entirety of the experience, you do have to play through the game twice, as both of the main characters, the male character Yuito and the female character, main character in Kasane. So it's definitely worthwhile going through the game twice, because it does add quite a bit to the story as well. And the game itself is so good. I would love to see a sequel to this game at some point. I think Bandai Namco does have something here. I don't know how exactly well the game sold with its initial release, but they did have seemingly a partnership with Xbox, and the game ultimately did come out for Game Pass, so hopefully they were compensated relatively well for that, and hopefully the game did well enough from a commercial standpoint where, you know, it justifies a sequel to the game, because I do think, again, Bandai Namco has something here that they could develop into a well-known IP. Look, it took Tales of a while to become a really well-regarded IP over here in the States, and it seems like it's really, really taking off after the release of Tales of Arise. Just because Scarlet Nexus may have not done gangbuster numbers with its first release, I think everybody that played it really enjoyed it, and I think there's a lot of room for it to grow with potential future entries, or if they want to take some of the fundamental ideas they placed in Scarlet Nexus and then parlay that into a future outing. Whatever they do, I'm looking forward to whatever the studio puts out. Bandai Namco, in my opinion, has been putting out some really good stuff, especially from a JRPG department. They had a really good year, so hopefully that persists going into 2022. Alright, moving on from that, this came out of seemingly nowhere. Praey for the Gods is now available for PS5, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This is a game that is a open-world adventure title, and often compared to Shadow of the Colossus. You have these big bosses you gotta fight. It's been in early access for quite a while, and it's available for $29.99 again, PS5, PS4, Xbox, PC. And the game notes, Praey for the Gods is a boss-climbing open-world adventure game where you play as a lone hero sent to the edge of a dying frozen world to discover the mystery behind a never-ending winter. Arriving with only the clothes on your back, you must survive the colossal dangers that you encounter to restore balance and reclaim the land from the brink. You will be faced with questions that not even a god knows the answer to. You got a bit of this boss battling element, you got a bit of this adventure game element, and then you also have survival elements to it as well. Scale massive beasts, overcome impossible odds to climb atop, and defeat the massive beasts that are bound to this land. Climb, glide, and swim. You can climb on virtually anything you can get your hands on, from ruins and mounds to the massive beasts that inhabit the land. Ascend to the tops of the mountains and then glide over the open world to reach previously inaccessible locations. Swim in frigid water to uncover hidden locations that contain secrets and treasure, but don't stay in too long or your swim could become your last. Explore, craft, and survive. You'll arrive on a frozen island with only the clothes on your back. It's up to you to survive, make fires, hunt for food, and find the equipment you need to make it through an eternal winter. Nature isn't the only danger, so craft weapons, defeat minions for better gears, and venture into long-forgotten caves to discover their secrets. Triumphing over these trials will prepare you for the impossible odds that await. And unravel the mystery. Why won't the winter stop? Why has no one returned? Cryptic paintings left behind allude to a story once thought forgotten. So this game is available right now. It's been in early access for quite a while on PC. Very positive reception on PC as well. 1,191 user reviews, 86% positive on that end, so pretty strong reception there. And again, $29.99. You can grab that right now. Alright, moving on from that, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, one of those games that might be getting lost in those early 2022 slate of games. This one does come out a little bit later in like early March, so kinda can understand why there isn't a significant amount of buzz surrounding it, but publisher Square Enix and developer Team Ninja have released a bunch of new information about the game, going over some of the new characters as well as the basic 3 jobs and more. Characters include Sophia, you've also got Astos, and then we have a lot of information, and we also have information on Tiamat. So, yeah, that looks pretty wild. We have a lot of different information on event scenes and things of that nature. I'll leave a link in the description box below where it goes over the battle system. This is a game that unfortunately got memed on to death because I don't know who greenlit that trailer. I don't know who was watching that trailer and thought it would be a good idea to... Because honestly, the second I saw that trailer, I was just like, oh boy, this is not a good trailer. And I didn't think the chaos meme would have like really built up to that extent, but I was just like, yo, this is definitely a memeable trailer. It just kind of got way out of hand with that. The demo for the game was actually pretty solid, and unfortunately, people were just a little bit obsessed with the memes, but yeah, the memes were on point, not gonna lie there. Honestly, stuff like that I don't really think takes away from a game. If a game is of quality when it comes out, that's not gonna, you know, affect the game at all. Honestly, it might help the game just because it got more people aware of the game. So yeah, that's not really gonna do anything. It's just unfortunate that when we had the big debut for the game back in like June or whatever it was, it began to get memed on to death. But the game itself, I think, is going to turn out pretty well. I mean, it's Team Ninja at the end of the day. Team Ninja does high-quality stuff, and, you know, while this is a different kind of Final Fantasy title, I still think it's going to be something of quality. Is it going to be at the level of Team Ninja's other titles? I don't know about that, but I think the game itself is going to be pretty good. Alright, lastly, I do want to give you guys a heads up on some Pokemon news. Pokemon Legends Arceus details have dropped. Diamond Clan, Pearl Clan, and a bunch of other information. Darkrai information as well. A lot of information on the specific characters, clan leaders, and everything like that. This is a game that I am incredibly excited about. I used to be big into Pokemon, and I even picked up Shining Pearl, but the traditional style of Pokemon games, those are just not my cup of tea anymore. Honestly, I've moved past that, but I love the world of Pokemon. I love, you know, the history of Pokemon, and this is a game that seems to be right up my alley, where it's a different kind of game, but it's still in that world that a lot of people do have a lot of love for, and they want games within this world, but just in a different style, and this is exactly what I've been waiting for. The game seems to be shaping up quite nicely, and it's right around the corner, man. This is another one of those games, early 2022. It's out in January, so definitely something to keep your eye on. Add the mythical Pokemon Darkrai to your team in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Players with play records from Pokemon Brilliant Diamond or Pokemon Shining Pearl games will be able to take on a research request in Pokemon Legends Arceus that will lead to an encounter with the mythical Pokemon Darkrai. They will also be able to claim the modern Team Galactic set. So if you did play Shining Pearl or Brilliant Diamond, that's going to be a way to get that in Legends Arceus. Darkrai was one of my favorite Pokemon back in the day, so nice to see that as well. It said this Pokemon is active during nights of the new moon and that it can lull people to sleep and make them have nightmares. Pokemon Legends Arceus is due out for the Nintendo Switch exclusively on January 28th, 2022, and that's going to do it for me. Again, a lot of game updates here. Horizon Forbidden West, well, I think the PS4 screenshots look good. I really do want to see real-time gameplay of it. That's how we're going to be able to assess how this game is going to run. Do I think it's going to run pretty well? Yeah, I don't think Sony's gonna, you know, truck out a Cyberpunk 2077-esque experience. At least I hope they're not gonna do that. I just think that would be incredibly foolish, but I do think it's gonna turn out well. Just waiting for real-time gameplay. At the end of the day, I am gonna be playing it on PS5. I imagine a lot of you will be as well, but I can understand why, you know, they've got over 100 million PS4s out there. A lot of people can't get a PS5, don't want to get a PS5 right now. You know, the game is going to sell way better if it is on PS4. Yomawari 3 announced for PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Scarlet Nexus gets an update, and Bond Enhancement Pack 2 has dropped, available now. Also available now, Praey for the Gods, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins gets an update, and Pokemon Legends Arceus out January 28th. That game is shaping up quite nicely. Got Darkrai in there as well, so that's pretty cool. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.